Welcome panel. I'm Gaurav and we want to create some value for the video now because there's barely people in the hall now and we better do it well. So by the reference of ONX, as I've been introduced, it's a Dubai-based family firm and family office, whereas an investment consulting firm. Otherwise, we're a technology company for over a decade. I would please request you to introduce yourselves and thereon we'll take it forward.
Thank you, Gaurav. My name is Tushar. I work as principal for Lunex Ventures, which is a crypto venture capital fund based out of Singapore. Lunex Ventures is the crypto arm of a traditional venture capital fund called Golden Gate Ventures. Golden Gate Ventures was launched in 2011 as a quote-unquote traditional VC fund, which has about $200 million under management today. We've backed some of the earliest and biggest e-commerce players and consumer-facing product companies in Southeast Asia. One of the companies that Golden Gate invested in, and I'm not sure how many people invested in ICOs here, but one of the equity investments that we did was a company called Omise, which is a payments company in Thailand. Omise went on to do a token sale, which Golden Gate could not participate in because our fund mandate didn't allow it to participate in the token sale. And that's how Lunex Ventures was born. Lunex is a $10 million crypto fund. We take both equity stakes in early stage blockchain startups, invest in primary token issuances. So primary token issuances would be things like ICOs and STOs, which the previous panelists were talking about. And the third thing that we invest in is projects or tokens or cryptocurrencies that are already listed on crypto exchanges. So we have the mandate to hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, other tokens and currencies that we fundamentally believe in. But we're not a hedge fund, we're a venture fund, so it's a 5-year closed-ended fund where we've locked in our investors over a longer-term horizon to give them exposure to this broader set of new asset class.
Hello, my name is Ashwin. So I'm an investor, I'm an entrepreneur. Here I'm representing three different funds which I am a part of. So I sit on the board of advisors of a company called Cryptocurrencies Venture Advisors. It's a small domestic, very niche venture capital fund. It's registered in India. We focus on companies which are in the space of data analytics primarily. So I represent them. I am also an advisor to 7 BC, which is a major, which is a fund, 100% blockchain focused global fund. And I've also co-founded Ideal Ventures, which is again a fund. Now I'm an advisor, now I'm not a GP anymore in that fund, which is focused on companies expanding from different parts of the world to Middle East and to certain countries in Africa. So we do growth capital for them. Yeah, so these are some of the funds which I represent. Apart from that, I run a few very interesting companies as well in the space of data analytics.
Thank you, Ashwin.
Hi guys, I am Samir Rastogi. I am managing partner of a corporate law firm called India Jewelers, and we are doing more than 10 transactions every month on private equity and startup transactions. Other than that, we have our own investment arm called Shark Ventures. We have done recently founded it last year, and we are investing through that firm, seed funding and startup funding from that particular firm. So we'll discuss more.
Thank you, Samir.
Hi, I'm Rajiv. I run a fund called Horizon. Been running it for 3 years, and that's about it.
Nice. Thank you.
I am Pravas. I'm actually heading the US India Blockchain Council in India. So we have 2 companies. One is registered in the US in the name of US India Blockchain Council, and in India it's USID Ventures Limited. Which we just yesterday only we got the approval for the Blockchain Innovation Fund. We still have to go through the same. But the 3 verticals we work with is basically setting the best practices for policymakers between US and India, and particularly engaging with the universities, academia, that sector. Second is we do a lot of capacity building work with incubation centers and accelerators. The third phase is particularly we work with the developers and building an ecosystem, helping the Indian developers to go overseas for their higher education research purposes. At the same time, connecting them with right kind of companies and also entrepreneurs instead of going and working in McDonald's and other companies.
Wow, thank you, Pravesh.
I'm Rajat Jaiswal, I'm the co-founder for Waterburger. By profession, I'm an airline pilot, commanded in flying for 12 years. Primarily aimed at setting up a restaurant chain, aimed at expanding it to more than 100 stores eventually. The idea belongs to franchising primarily, and also running company stores to set up a chain and efficient setup where we can do a supply chain management. Ideally incorporating all the latest technology in terms of food and in terms of IT, which we can incorporate in the food industry. So we are primarily entering into an era where we can enter blockchain into our system and incorporate it in having an efficient system for supply chain management.
Wow. So I can clearly classify this panel into investors and a startup that is already successful in its traditional means and now deploying blockchain. I also want to further classify the investing part of this panel into people who are invested in cryptos. I'm using the word cryptos, not just blockchain. And people who are looking, or rather not looking but investing otherwise. Yes, the other side of this conference. People who are not invested in blockchain. So how many of you are still not invested in blockchain? All of you. Okay. So the primary purpose of this discussion was to. So there's a debate. Even yesterday, Mr. Anil took this ahead, and which mentioned that a lot of entrepreneurs here are not getting enough funds. This side comes from my experience, where I see a lot of, my portfolio companies struggling for investments in the Indian VC space, and eventually being the first venture to be taken to boost VC in the valley. So that clearly isn't lack of innovation, but where VCs are not, aware enough of these ventures. And the second part, I want to quote what Mr. Anil said, that somebody who was nobody, all of a sudden is a blockchain expert in 3 years, and now has started up. So he does not deserves to be, right, maybe not deserves is not the right word, but he said that they're not funded well and they cannot take large enterprise startups on their own. So, what's your take? Does India lacks innovation and hence the funds are not flowing? Or do you think that our VCs are not educated or aware enough to invest in to pick and choose the right ones?
Allow me to, so I'll just give you
if everybody has a say, we can do it in sequence. Tushar, do you have a say?
Yeah, so, we speak to, I've personally, I think there are in general 8 blockchain capitals in the world, so Singapore, Hong Kong, Seoul, Shanghai, Berlin, London, SF, New York, these are where most of the deals happen. I have a personal interest in India because I come from India, and I think once there's a little bit more regulatory clarity, I think things are going to really take off. In general, what I'm trying to do personally is kind of expand my network, get connected to more founders, get connected to more developers and other stakeholders in the ecosystem while things are still a little bit quiet. I think in general there's a lot of innovation happening. A lot of the projects globally that have raised significant amounts of money in 2016, 17, 18 are actually getting their products developed by developers from India. There's multiple development shops in India that I speak to on a regular basis in order to make better investment decisions, who are all sitting in India. A lot of the developers, even in different parts of the world, whether it's in the US.
I'm sorry to cut you short, but so you clearly understand that there's no lack of innovation?
There's absolutely no lack of innovation. I think in general there's a lack of funding. It could be due to regulatory uncertainty. It could be...
For blockchain, there's no regulatory uncertainty.
So again...
In fact, our Prime Minister tweets every now and then about blockchain. What can be better? In the favor of blockchain, yes.
Yeah, I think from that perspective, I think there's you're right? So as far as crypto is concerned, and I think there's this narrative in India where crypto and blockchain are two separate things, whereas I think, especially in the Western context, they actually go hand in hand. So blockchain is the engine, crypto is the fuel.
Not always, but okay. Yeah. Let's come to the topic, which is, why do you think if there's no lack of innovation, and clearly there's no lack of funds, I mean, we have so many funds sitting here on the board, why isn't it flowing towards the Indian space?
I mean, I
According
think,
to you.
yeah, I think so. A couple of reasons, right? So, like Mr. Anil pointed out yesterday as well, right? There's a lot of people who are opportunistic about trying to raise funds. So suddenly you have companies that try to be the Uber but on blockchain, or they try to be, Swiggy on blockchain. And so these are people who kind of got onto the, crypto bandwagon early. Now they're trying to, crypto didn't work out for them, especially in 2018. Now they're trying to raise funds. VCs are not sure if these guys are actual entrepreneurs or whether they're just in it to make a quick buck and then exit the market as soon as they have an opportunity. So I think combined, if you combine sort of the regulatory uncertainty around crypto, not blockchain, along with some of the lessons that have been learned by some of the investors who got burned in later part of 2017, early 2018.
We are again shifting towards crypto. Okay,
Yeah.
let's hear it from Ashwin. Let's stick to blockchain for now.
Yeah. So there are two angles to it. One angle, even while let's say when I was raising fund as a VC for my own VC fund, there has been questions from LPs, traditional LPs. If I say it's a blockchain only fund, there are lots of questions, and you have to make it very clear to the LP about the difference between crypto and blockchain. And I'm not just talking about Indian LPs, by the way. Our fund is raised mostly from outside, and I'm talking about literally globally, West included. And there's this question from traditional LPs coming around this. So that's a common problem. Because anything which is new will have that problem.
It's not limited to blockchain. I mean,
It's not limited to
ask for
blockchain.
investment, whether for a fund or not.
Yeah. It's not limited. Anything is a new thing, and you're talking about something niche, something unique, there will be questions. As simple as that. These are the questions that are coming in. With regards to innovation in India, I think the problem is again common to everything, like it's with blockchain, similarly with everything. There are lots of companies out there which are not really doing blockchain and talking about innovation unnecessarily. There are lots of companies, like it has always been, companies which are not really making anything and are in the space. So what happens if you see too much of clutter and only few good companies, then obviously you will start feeling that maybe there's lack of innovation. I think that's similar thing happening, not very different for blockchain, I would say.
Okay.
Only thing that's a new thing, so obviously there will be these questions, right?
Let's hear it from someone.
I have not invested in blockchain, but four or five transactions on blockchain investments are going on. So I'll just take the.
Then you're the perfect person for this.
So
answer.
that's why I said let me fucking speak first.
Yeah.
See, I'll take the distilled and I'll take one more minute. So here in the audience, do we have founders or
Startup founders, raise your hands.
entrepreneurs?
Okay, blockchain founders.
Okay.
Okay, all blockchain startups.
Investors
Nice.
we have seen whole. See what happens when there is a meeting of mind. Regulatory things doesn't happen. Somehow the way legally it is structured, an investment happens. That we have already done, it's been done. The greatest problem which comes at valuation. The moment founder thinks something is good, I want 100 million. My valuation is 100 million. If somebody would have seen a movie called A Life of Pi, I'll take 1 minute just to explain my thing. Have you seen A Life of Pi? Yes. The situation is there is a bad weather sea. There is a guy who is just going to drown there, and there is a boat. So he catches the boat and he jumps inside the boat. And when he goes inside the boat, he finds that in that boat there is a lion. Now the boy is you, and this ecosystem is the sea. The boat is the transaction and lion is the investor. So when you jump inside the boat, you don't see what investor, who is and what. Similarly, I want to tell the founders, when you are getting any investor, don't take term sheet in your hand and start thinking hypothetical situation. This will happen, that will happen at 1,000 crore valuation, how will exit, what will be my control right? Jump inside it. And what that boy did, when he went inside the boat, he tamed with the lion. He was friendly with the lion. And both of them saved the life. Similarly, whenever you get an investor, don't get stuck on like term sheets or any valuation issue. Investor says 10, okay, 10, do it now.
I think
That
this
is the
should be one of the most popular GIFs now. I'm super impressed with the answers. This because blockchain.
Let me complete one more thing.
Yeah.
So, in this, what happens, it's not here. I'm from lawyer background, so I'm telling you what happens is the investor friend will tell, the founder's friend will tell you, oh, don't go to investor like this. He will eat you up. Take some lawyer with him. Okay. He takes a lawyer with him. When his lawyer comes into picture, investor would always have a lawyer because he's there with the deal. When his lawyer comes into picture, he has to justify his view. He will tell you 20 points. No this, not that, and the deal will go finished. So for founders, I had done a deal of oil room with Ritesh, first 4 rounds. Asked him, did he read the term sheet? No. Love is signed for that. So don't stuck to situations where you scrap the deal. Don't unnecessarily hire lawyers. Go with the commercial decision, sign it and go forward. People will say, oh, this transaction, that restriction, this restriction. It will go like a water. Next investor will dictate his terms. Another round investor will dictate. You will not have anything in your hand. So let it.
I'll tell you one more thing. I mean, adding on to this, yesterday we had a principal of a large fund from Hong Kong, who is a dear friend, Mohak. Right? He made a really nice statement on the Indian VC space. He said, जिस दिन पहले दिन एक स्टार्टअप जाता है ना इंक्यूबेटर के पास, वो उससे पूछते हैं कि टर्म शीट रेवेन्यू शीट दिखा. I mean, seriously, are you an incubator or like Series B? So it's a dilemma between the space. Number one. अब वो अगर वो लॉयर लेके नहीं जाता है तो उसके बाप को भी नहीं पता है कि टर्म शीट क्या होती है. ठीक है, एटलीस्ट मतलब सीड राउंड के बाद तक तो नहीं पता चलना चाहिए आइडियली. सेकेंडली, जिसको पता है, ही विल ऑलवेज लैंड ऑन टू दिस माइंडसेट. आई डू अग्री टू दैट फैक्ट where as soon as I mean most of the blockchain startups and in fact all the startup entrepreneurs, they have this mindset that I'm just born to be a unicorn. This venture is a unicorn. This investor is a pest lying in my way which I have to treat, and hence they evaluate themselves to some extent. I find that at a very, I mean, one of the most viable answers. In fact, I'll learn it from
Just 4 or 5 days I was closing a blockchain.
Let's switch on to others and then we'll discuss details. Please.
Yeah, so as a fund, you need to understand 2 things. That when a VC is investing, or any investor, a VC firm or a micro VC firm investing in your business, they have a limitation. And that limitation is that particular company, in a period of 5 years or less, has to give back the money to their investors. Now, I am not a crypto investor. That's an honest confession. We're very interested in the space of technology. So blockchain is, of course, the buzzword going around town nowadays, so everybody has to be interested. But when I look at the business, whether it's blockchain or it's any other buzzword going around town, you need to understand, is the business going to make money? And I need to understand that because I am a general man. If I don't see money making, then my tendency to invest will be very, very low. Now, technology is a very good thing, but what I have seen, and I have been, our success rate of the fund is about 1 in 15. So when we invest, there are a lot of companies that go through. What I've seen is that, and it's probably not their fault, they have not thought through their business, that this is what I'm going to make. Not in terms of technology, but in terms of money. This is the timeline I'll do. This is how I'll make it. The business side is not thought of. I have spent enormous amount of hours with people just trying to understand where is the business going to make money. You have a damn good thing, all the buzzwords of technology fitted in. How is it going to make money? And if it's not going to make money, I'm not going to get interested because I need to make money out of it and get out. I'm not going to run your company. And that, you have, every promoter has to think that, listen, I'm getting this guy to give me money for a couple of years and get out of my life. I'm not giving money for this guy to live with me forever. And the moment you have that reality in place, then you will merge the technology with business. I have seen, and this unfortunately happens in the technology space, uh, that people don't think business. They think what a great product they will make. How will that make money is not what people think, and that is where they liquid out. So money is there. The problem is we're not applying correctly for getting that money out. So the fault does not sit with the guy with the money, the fault sits with you that you're not able to convince the guy to give you money. That needs to be straightened.
I totally agree. And of course, our discussion was more on the angel side, but you as a fund should do all the due diligence, and we don't expect funds to be in the angel rounds. Not all.
I don't do angel round
Exactly.
at all.
So if you're not in the angel round, then everything you said makes absolute sense.
Right.
But at the same time, what Samir said was mostly on the angel side, and like talking about the first two rounds at least. Pravesh, sorry. What do you think about the ecosystem and the investment side from your point of view?
I think it's like chicken and eggs, right? So if you don't have enough innovations, obviously fund is not going to come. And if you have a lot of funding is available, but if you don't have innovation, then obviously it's a mismatch, which is
What do you think? Is it lack of innovation or lack of funding?
I don't think it's a lack of innovation. I think we are not still matured as an ecosystem. So in ecosystem, there are many players. You need the government, the policymakers, mentors, academia, researchers, investors, and even the founders and the team as well. So the whole ecosystem is not matured enough in India. Second part is even the incubation centers who are taking the startups. So they are, I won't say that because I'm also part of the incubation, but they've been very much okay. If I'll get a 2%, 3% equity right from the beginning, then I'll take that startup. But they don't see what problem they are solving, what is the business model, what technology they have got, do they have a right CTO, do they have a right CEO, can they align with some of the other partners from other incubation centers, or even from outside as well. So the stage-by-stage process, that building a POC first, then taking it to the MVP level, take it to go to market, get some tractions. So at that stage, you don't need money, and even if you need money, the incubation center is capable enough to give that money. Or even if the incubation center cannot give the money, the incubation manager can actually allocate the money from the government itself, be it Startup India Fund or the state level startup policies. So even there are some early stage funds, even friends and family, they can arrange the funds. But getting that initial traction, 100 paid customers, so that's not happening most of the time, and that's why we are a mismatch. And then after, what happens when they don't get the support system at the initial stage? So the startups run out of money. The founder has no choice to run after the investors to get the money so that they can retain their team, they can have the co-working space and all this.
That's the typical life cycle.
Yeah.
Yes, but I mean, the point is, you think there are a few, do you think of a few steps, can you think of a few steps that the Indian incubators need to take, especially to inculcate the blockchain side of this ecosystem, or is it just fine and prepared and the chicken and egg story has to keep on going?
I think we need to develop a sustainable, business model first. Let the incubation sector and incubation centers, let them be sustainable for themselves first. Because most of the time they are also dependent on the government funds. So that's easy way to run the business. So let them be sustainable first. Thereafter, teach the startups whoever are coming, or mentor those startups who are coming on their incubation center how to be sustainable. At the same time, what I think the fund, they can definitely develop a consortium or ecosystem. And I would say my story, how we started. We didn't take any money from the government. We took money from the companies that were inside our campus. So there were almost 60 companies, and they were working with large projects with the government, be it smart city or different projects. So we went there, we did a barter deal. We'll give you the POC. Our startups, our founders will work with you for next 3 months to 6 months, but we are looking to raise around 2 CR, can you help us with that? And we immediately got an offer from TCS and we got an offer from
Really?
Tech Mahindra.
Okay.
So that is how we get the CSR funds.
Yes, actually. Let's hear it out from a startup itself. So a food startup which is already doing well from the last 2 years. Now Rajat, you're doing your Series A, right?
Sorry?
You're on the verge of doing your Series A, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I just started.
What made you? I mean, what did you think having burgers on blockchain? What were you thinking? Is that, I mean, I need to quote a popular WhatsApp mimic here. It was a roundtable of VCs and a startup was presenting it themselves. They were saying, okay, we have AI, we have the best of tech, we have the best of team, we have revenues, everything. And the VCs, they were like busy with their mobiles. It was all a cartoon, of course. And he got depressed. The next picture was he got depressed and was moving out and just turned back and said, oh yes, we also have blockchain. And all of a sudden the entire VC table was filled of, I mean, usher fees. Was that mimic in your mind that, I mean, you'll bring blockchain on burgers and just do wonders for you, or like, did you find a real use case?
Not ideally. See, blockchain is of course very popular these days. Considering that if you want to invest into a company, if you're incorporating a technology which is really around these days, it helps
Can you
you a
please
lot.
be a bit louder? I think there's a problem with the sound system.
So, if you're incorporating a technology which is very popular, it helps really present yourself as a company who's technologically advanced. But at the same time, having a technology or having a business is one thing, being able to sell it and being able to make money out of it is another. So the idea of incorporating blockchain into our business was not primarily based upon being eye-catchy in the eyes of investors. The idea was to be a firm and a company which does innovative stuff in a manner where we can actually cash in on the efficiency of our products. So Waterburger is not just a restaurant which is running as an operating restaurant, we also franchise. How it comes into play is we have franchises where there are all kinds of investors, from small scale people who are probably doing odd jobs and raising a loan from relatives to just run a restaurant or have a dream of owning a restaurant, to people who have sufficient money to invest in a restaurant where we run it for them and just have an investment. So we have all kinds of people involved in the business. So considering that vast category of clientele, we need to be very transparent in our transactions. Now how we have our company is that we source some products from small-time companies also. We source products from big-time manufacturers also. From the point these products are sourced to the time they reach actually an end user is a large series of transactions. Blockchain can really have a clear transparency into these transactions. This will not just keep the image of the company in a good presentation in front of an investor, knowing exactly where the product is sourced from and how it is delivered. It also gives a very clear and transparent image in the consumer who's actually buying the product. So, for example,
Brilliant deployment.
Sorry?
Brilliant use case.
And very recently there was, I don't know if people remember this, but a popular food chain in UK, the Asda, such a retail chain like Walmart, they had a case where they were actually found selling horse meat packaged as beef. And it was only after months of being sold that they realized the vendor actually messed up and they were packaging horse meat as beef. It actually reached shelves of a company which is very stringent in terms of food laws. It actually went to consumers and the transaction carried on for months before it actually traced. This is something which can actually be stopped and regulated with the use of blockchain. I can actually trace it down from vendors to the point it is manufactured, the time the chicken is actually sourced, or the vegetable is actually sourced to the time it reaches. I mean, the uses are just infinite. So what we intend to do is incorporate this step by step, because it is still a new technology, so they are not also.
We have just like 3 minutes, so we'll have to quickly.
Yeah. So this is where we intend to incorporate blockchain into the restaurant chain.
So in the last 3 minutes, can any of you precisely, or let's say one point, just one sentence, that would encourage you to invest? What changes do you want to see in the Indian startups to encourage you to invest in them? One sentence, please. You are heavy, Tushar, I mean, in investments. Please.
Yeah, your business model.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the key. I mean, I think globally, a lot of the companies have raised a lot of money, but a lot of investors have gotten burned, and there hasn't been a clear ROI from a growth in terms of the company and a clear business model that is evolved.
Be real, don't try to be cool just for the sake of being cool.
Any specifics on that, please?
I mean, yeah, there's so many companies out there, they do not have a use case. There's no clarity. Just want to do something exciting, as you mentioned in this meet we talked about. And they just do it, and they just want to be in the limelight. There's so many people who do businesses just to get in media, which is so surprising. I don't know why people do that. Don't try it. It's all stupid. I mean, business is there to make money. That's it. So be real.
See, as far as blockchain is concerned and lack of innovation and funding, one should also see what are the ways, probably we will need to evolve more ways of funding. Funding is not just simply an investor investing in a present scenario which is going on in a blockchain company where investment because of regulatory, you can get projects, that is also funding. So you can get a lot of investors who may not invest directly, but they have a lot of businesses and they give projects. And the project, they will say, okay, I'm in a year, we are a US company and we have such and such a project, you do it for us. So they give you a huge budget for doing those projects, and you can get those projects, do some projects, and not only this investor funding, those projects if you are doing, that is equal to your funding. In 2-3 cases we have done that. The investor had said, okay, do my this thing and this project. And that money they, now apart from that, what happens, once you have done the project for such people, then they realize, then they are confident. You have demonstrated your capability.
Including it, it means get some real revenue.
Some real.
Sir, please.
So I've already said, I just have one thing to say. Just get through, just think through your business plan and just see that how it's going to make money. That's about it. Everything else falls in place.
It's the founder and the hunger. That's the most important thing. The integrity of the founder, what they are doing, they should know their stuff, and also the hunger. They need to achieve. They need to get.
Okay, so you have the mantra here. Revenue, 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 revenue. Right? So if you are starting up, get some revenues, get some numbers on your sheets, and you have the investors ready. We'll be open for questions, if any. Anybody? Apart from these two? Okay. So 1, 2, right? Anyone else? Okay. You can shout out if in case I'm not able to see it. There, third, fourth, fifth row, to the right. These are my people, so we can know them. Hi. Yeah, I understand.
Hi. I have a question Pravas there. My name is Amarji. So as you mentioned that you also facilitate the funding from Startup India or the incubation, government incubations. So we are being incubated at Hackathon campus by Government of India, or Government of California at INA. And it's been like 6 months. They have said they'll be giving us a grant of 3 lakh rupees. It's been 6 months. We haven't seen a single rupee coming in. There are other 22 startups. Out of that, 4 are actually graduating next month. They haven't received any single rupee. So are these funds are just for the sake of putting the manifesto in the elections, or is it actually going to see the day of?
I don't think we have government incubators sitting here, right?
No, but he said something about that they facilitate
we can actually take your message and deliver, like.
Yeah, so I'm just wanted to get the view of.
Okay, we got your message. Yeah. My suggestion is get to private investors. Okay, Kumar, and then.
So my question is also from for Rajat. So Rajat, you have a fantastic food chain, correct? And so I heard that every panelist was, because all our top VCs here, they were saying that revenue. So when we have a chance to invest in Whataburger, because you have a revenue, and as an investor we are looking. So can you give our, because it's very good in the Indian market to find a company to really invest where we have revenues, correct? So what's your thought on that?
As of now,
What are you waiting for, basically?
We are absolutely ready. If anybody says we can take it right now. So probably about another 2 to 3 months we'll have everything in place to start our first round. And the plan is that so far, without any external investment, we've managed to get 50 plus restaurants running and functioning. A growth of more than 25% on average is what we target. We also construct our own restaurants, manufacture a couple of products now. So
I want the startups in the house to listen to all of this. This is what a serious startup does.
No, as a VC, because I know I'm chasing Rajat like from an year, and he's not giving me the opportunity. So that's a message also for the startups here. Because if you have a revenue, it's not the startup who have to chase the money, it's the investors who are always chasing the startups.
So that's primarily because I was flying. And also because we've been trying to structure everything.
Who's the question?
I have a question with Rajat. I would
to be the most popular.
I'd like to ask one more thing. How you are going to implement the blockchain with the local supplier and vendor for your restaurant?
See, there are various ways. Because RFID tagging is one way of doing it. And yes, of course, since the technology is new, we also look for a lot of people who give us the insight into how we can actually get it implemented. But starting with what we'll do is we'll incorporate it at levels where technology is already involved. For example, the companies which are handling our packaging and companies which are handling the manufacturing of large products, they are technologically ready to incorporate it. So obviously we cannot incorporate a system into a business at one night or into a fortnight. It will take a couple of months to fully incorporate it. But to begin with, we'll start with the supplies of products which are already in place with technology. For example, AdCount is one company who's handling a lot of stuff for us, for packaging, etc. It's also started by a couple of ITs and they're doing pretty well. So they are technologically ready to do it for us. And
Tushar is an investor in that technology.
Yeah, he is. Then a couple of other companies, for example, there are primary manufacturers of sauces or a couple of other products who have that background available, where from the stage where the food is sourced to the stage it is packed and distributed, it can actually be taken account for.
So, as for one of the point, when the product has long shelf life, we will handle it. But when the product has short shelf life, like in the vegetables products and other the raw material that is coming in the food, these are fat. So, how will we handle this?
See, the amount of sales we do in a day,
This is beyond their control, and they've already mentioned that
I have a fair answer for that.
Yeah.
The amount of sales we do in a day, our products don't last more than 24 hours in a store, ideally. Talking about the fresh stocks. So all the vegetables are sourced every morning, and ideally be exhausted by midday. So it's 3 times the supply that's what we maintain for all the fresh stock. So if the problem happens ideally in a restaurant where your outflow is small, where you're sourcing products and actually stocking them. The amount of outflow we have, selling close to 500 burgers a day at a small joint, that regulation is pretty high. So you are exhausting your stock ideally 2 times in a day, rather than doing it at 2 times in a month. So storage or accounting for all these things is never the problem. The problem is actually finding the right product. So that will also come in place, and it will help a lot of people. For example, eliminating the middlemen. So as of now, you've got all the brokers who source the vegetables from a small-time farmer and get the majority of the revenue out of it, and the farmers are probably paid just 10% of what the actual product is worth for. Once we have this technology into place, it will also take care of that, right? You can actually, know exactly how your funds have been distributed amongst the manufacturer to the broker to the guy who's actually distributing.
Okay, thank you, Roger. Any last piece? This has to be quick. I can say that one. I mean, he's my teammate.
So, talking about innovation and blockchain, what was the last project you find really innovative? Like tokenization is no longer innovative. Like we can tokenize Uber, Swiggy, anything. But so there are like a more number of tokens, less number of users these days. So tokenization is not at all innovative these days. So what was the last innovative project you found in blockchain? Like revenue as business, it's not technology.
So you just want to close with names, right?
Yeah.
Let's, yeah. Just name, please.
Yeah, so very, very quick description of the last company that we funded, equity investment. What this company does is takes all the data from the blockchain and finds out any illegal transactions or any transactions where there was any linkage to any Ponzi schemes, linkages to any scams. They basically highlight these addresses, these public wallet addresses, so that any transaction that happens in the future with these addresses is highlighted to the user. The name of the company is Merkle Science.
Great.
A company which recently I found was like working on credible profiling using blockchain. I will obviously not name it right now, but that was quite interesting.
Great.
For blockchain, we are doing profile, but there is nothing such which I can follow your answer.
Nothing that. Sir, did you invest in a blockchain fund?
Oh, no, we are evaluating some yet, and I don't think it's the right place right now.
Okay.
For that.
So with this we close the discussion. This was amazing having you people. Thank you for your time.